Hey guys, Aaron here. We got the engine installed. Check it out. It is right here with the transmission. If you guys just watched my live stream, thank you. I have edited a version since then, I'm sure. Hopefully you check out the link up here on getting this engine installed. In this video, I'm gonna go ahead and make all of the final connections now. So I'm just gonna start in the back and go clockwise around here. Again, never done this before. So bear with me. So this wire, in the last video, we decided it has a little clip right there that attaches to this post. It comes through and it comes right here to this, I forget what the term Porsche uses, is like the B plus something or other, at least on my Cayman. But this is where our positive wire from the battery comes and goes to the wiring harness. So this should slip right over there. Fits nicely, and we can't forget this wire right here that runs into the chassis of the car. Don't know what he's for exactly, but he comes in here to join the party. And I'm just gonna tighten this nut back up. And then this should have a little lid after I torque this down, snap that up. All right, next up we have this little wire that comes out of the same place as that electrical connection. And this goes to the reverse lamp switch. That's the one that we replaced. It's right up here on the transmission. I can feel it. Let me show you to you, that guy right there. All right, heard him snap in. And there's a little tiny cable clip built into the wiring harness that you can slide that line in. All right, next thing I see obviously is our axle. So we need to bolt that in. These bolts have this piece here that connects two at a time. So they look like this. They get tightened down to 81 Newton meters, and they are, you have to use an 8mm hex socket. All right, I went ahead and attached them, torqued both sides down. Okay, let's see what's next. I know we got these coolant lines that we're gonna have to attach, so what the heck, let's do that. All right, I have these hoses loosely fitted on here. I still have to loosen this clamp and slide them on all the way, but there are 3 of these little clips along the way, and the other 2 are connected like this. And these clips, you can see that there's a little, let me zoom in. See, that is shaped like that and hooks right over here. So it slides in from the right over to the left and clips onto this, and it helps hold these in place. There are 3 of them on here. It looks like there's a bolt hole here. So it looks like there's another bracket that's missing that this one is supposed to clip onto. I don't know about a 3rd one. Maybe it just helps hold them together. But I think there were just 2 places. So I'm gonna get my connections on tight here, and this one I can lift up, and I'll show you just, this thing slides across the pipes and should lock into here. All right, that is clipped into place so you can see that it's nice and sturdy there. All right, after a 20-minute epic struggle, tip for you. Make sure you take these clamps off on the hardline side and don't bring them over here to take this off, because this bump right here, I could not get that clamp over the large bump here, but it comes off in this direction and back on easily. Okay, continuing down this side, I get to this bracket here and here, where I'm gonna guess this brace kind of looking piece goes. Somebody left the bolt in there, so I assume it's the top line that just goes in and tightens, and the bottom one is a through bolt with a bolt on one side, nut on the other. So it doesn't look like there's a front and back to this. know. I'm gonna go this way. All right, that fit in here beautifully, and I realized that there is a front and a back. There are arrows pointing, I assume, to the front of the car. So I had a 50-50 shot, got it right. All right, these things are going to 110 Newton meters. Now the bolt side over here is a 16 millimeter. The nut side is an 18 millimeter. On all four, all go to 110. Cool, cool. That was a lot of torque. All right, moving around. Coming to our ground strap. Oh, good. I bet this tape is to hold on the bolt. Yes, because I didn't know where that bolt was going to be. Let me vapor hone the head of that real quick. Ah, that just makes me happy. Brand new hardware, but for free. All right, so our ground strap gets connected right into that little threaded hole in the side of our block or head or wherever this is now. So we just get that started by hand and go look up the torque spec for you. E-torque size 12, we're going to 13 Newton meters. In case your E12 is like mine and won't fit back there, I got a little swivel 10 millimeter, just a regular 10 millimeter metric socket, and that actually fits on the head as well. So we got that one all torqued down. Got a witness mark it now. I'm gonna pop over to the driver's side again now and finally try to get this connection on there. You have to get them like really straight lined up together to get it to start to thread, I found, and I haven't gotten that yet. All right, 215 millimeters here and here, got that in there. There's a little black plastic clip that snaps into. All right, this longer shift cable here had a piece of tape on it, and I realized it was giving us a little present. There's a little clip taped to it, so that's gotta be important somewhere. All right, our first shift cable is red. It's got a little channel on the side of it here. So it looks like it presses up into the first U-shaped bracket right here. Put it back in there. Okay, so he slides up there nicely, and you can pull him in and out. So I'm gonna guess he just snaps on right there. Okay, he seems attached now. I don't know what keeps him from sliding up and down in there. This other guy, I'm sure he does the same in this bracket. Slide him up in that bracket, and then he can pop right into there. I wonder if this little bracket piece holds that in somehow. I don't know. Let me investigate. All right, so these things, I found out if you push them up high enough to actually click and snap into place, and there's little plastic tabs on the side you can pinch in to release them, to bring them down, but they're nice and held in there sturdy. This kind of fits over those prongs a little bit, but I don't know, maybe that's there to hold them open so they don't release. I don't know. I mean, it kind of snaps in place there, so yeah, I'm gonna go with that. All right, I'm just gonna continue connecting stuff. I'm gonna start with the electrical to get it kind of out of the way. This one was labeled something. This one was labeled bottom. So this must be the one that connects to the bottom. I assume they have slightly different connectors so that you can't put them in wrong, but no. Plugged in pretty easily. I'm just twisting the ring clockwise. All right, until it stops. It went around probably a quarter turn, I would guess. That means this guy's going on the top. So the way they were positioned, they just kind of naturally plugged in. So that was nice. Rotate his ring. You can feel it when it kind of snaps into place there. So those are in. Pull these out of the way. These go to the Airbox and the O2. Plug in our coolant line. Put the electrical out of the way. Your coolant line goes in nicely, and I have the little ring clip somewhere. Let me grab it. I got the little ring clip here. It's kind of hidden by the electrical lines. Which way it goes? Let me look at this one. So the hooks go, this one down here, the hooks go towards the hose side. Just kind of doing this blind, I can't really see it. Blind approach really isn't working. So I can kind of see what I'm doing in here. Okay, so maybe you should place this back on that pipe with the engine out of the car to make it a lot easier on yourself so you can see where it's supposed to go. Because I can't really tell. So I'll let you know if I figure it out. Okay, I feel like I got it in correctly. All right, so the tab is over on the left. The little actual pins go towards the metal pipe, not the other pipe. That little straight edge line goes right through that groove, and I feel like it's locked in now. All right, so this power steering line looks wrong to me. First, because it's super close, almost touching this pulley. Is it touching the pulley? No. Almost touching this pulley, coming down here under this pipe, bending here. But if I try to put this bracket on, the head of the bracket comes up to like here on the pipe. I'm assuming it's supposed to go in this grommet down here. So is this pipe just bent or installed wrong or what? Well, crap. I think I ran this line totally wrong. I think it's supposed to actually go under this thing and come out closer to this bracket over here somehow. Drat. I wish somebody would have caught this for me earlier. But live and learn. So, I'm gonna have to get back to that hard to get bolt in the back of the AC compressor again. Remove these bolts, remove this, pull the AC compressor back out, fix this, and reinstall everything. All right, practically an expert at this AC removal now. Not too hard once you've done it a few times. I got it re-zip tied here out of the way. Now I have to disconnect this line to fix this. And to get to it, it's a 16 millimeter, but you don't have any clearance to get to it. So got to remove this again. All right, just use an impact gun to get those off. I'll be damned if that blue Loctite didn't come back to haunt me though. This bolt is freaking still stuck in here. Got it loose easily now with the 16 millimeter. Gonna go ahead and remove it. All right. All right, this is gonna be fun. Okay. Just have to cut it out and under here now. Apologies in advance to anybody that did not watch ahead and were following along in my videos, because you are here doing the same thing as me. Something still seems wrong here. This doesn't really lay flat. This grommet gets all caught up in here, and if the bracket is supposed to be like this in some way, it doesn't. This thing is still sticking kind of out and not up like this one over here. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe Not sure if it's right, fingers crossed. I just kind of pushed this all the way down as far as I could while I tightened that one up, and maybe this bracketry will work. Let me put this back in and find out. Also this time, before I pushed the AC compressor back in, I went ahead and connected that to over here. I think it'll route around the outside of this. Otherwise, I have to pull it back out and have it go through here, but we'll see. All right, the only good thing about all of this rework is I was able to vapor hone these parts, make them shinier again. So I got this back in here, I think, where it belongs. It's obviously harder to get that back there because of this line now makes contact with the bottom of it. But it's pretty much easy, able to put it here flat and just slide it straight back. Holy frustration, Batman. I just cannot get that thing to line up properly so that it would connect with that bracket. So I'm gonna order a new one and see if that doesn't solve the problem, but that delays us yet again. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and connect the stuff over here. On the bottom, connect this large hose with the clip, just like we did with this one on the right side. All right, so before connecting them this time, I went ahead and put the little clip in here. And I'm just going to press the pipe in all the way. I put a little silicone around the O-rings to help it go in a little. The clip at the top might be preventing this from going in. Let's see. All right, we got it pressed in all the way snug. Now I can push this down. All right, and I think it's locked in now. Next up, we have this hose that is coming off of our coolant tank. So if you have any caps in here along the way, make sure you remove those. I'll spray a lithium grease to help this slide on. Oh yes, much better. And then a little hose clamp tool. Bring him over. And release. All right, this end here goes into our little quick connect. It seems like it fits better if I tuck this one under here. He goes right there. Easy peasy, right like that. And we have to make these two connections up here. That guy connects to this quick connect up here. And this is our new pipe here. And again, we have to remove that old broken piece. All right, let me show you how this goes on. There's a gray little circlip kind of thing that you just pry off of there. Hold on to this. And that just comes right out. So we will just push our new one in. Just slides right in. And then when you put the circlip back in the groove, put it back in the groove there, it prevents it from being able to slide out because it expands it so it locks in place. All right, I untangled them a little bit. Push that one in really tight and it will snap and you'll hear that it's in there. And then there's a little bit of bracketry at the top of the chassis that this rail clips into, and it looks like the other ones are supposed to clip in there too. All right, I'm gonna order a new one of those. Can't make it fit. Maybe that thing's bent or something. Moving on, this bar seems to fit right here, so I'm gonna assume that it goes here. These two bolts were left in the holes, so I'm gonna torque them down. They require a 15mm socket and go to 65 Newton meters. All right, found these cross braces. I assume that's what these things are. They're little rubber grommets here with two bolt holes. So I was trying to look around under the car and it seems like they fit right here. So one bolt hole is gonna go into this support beam. Little screw, don't know what that's before yet. But the rubber grommet passes through this hole right here. And there's another hole right there. And then this one passes all the way through, and it's got the nut on top to tighten it. And then in the front, they come through this front hole here. So I'm missing 2 bolts. I gotta go find those. Just make sure you orient the bars where the nut comes through this one. And this one is solid because you can't reach the nut. And then the same thing on this side. Here's your solid one going into this big tube where you couldn't put a nut on it. But over here on this one, it goes through, you can put a nut on, and if they are in the correct orientation, that hole will line up. All right, these diagonal braces have 2 different size bolts. The big thick ones for the ones at the rear of the car, these thinner ones towards the front. All right, I'm gonna go 65 Newton meters on these over here. And it is a 15 millimeter socket. These front ones are 16 millimeter, and we're gonna go 110 Newton meters. All right, time to put the sway bar on. We got 2 bolts on each end and 1 nut that goes onto the link here. Same on this side. Just line this up with the hole in the sway bar. Pass it through, put the nut over here. All right, our 4 bolts from the stabilizer bar to the subframe are M8x40s. They go to 23 Newton meters. And the nuts that go on that link are M10s, and they get 3 stages of tightening. You go to 50 Newton meters, you loosen it 90 degrees, and then you retorque it to 65 Newton meters. All right, these are torqued down. Those are 13 millimeters. The nut is 16 millimeters. All right, so the nut will spin, but as you can see from the bottom link here, at the end of this, you can put a 4 millimeter hex, and that will hold it. So up here, I'm gonna hold the 4 millimeter hex and use a 16 millimeter ratchet. All right, here is the part number. Just came in for our power steering line. Hopefully you guys never have to buy this part. $300. Just kind of want to line it up with my old one to show you why things did not align well. And everybody told me just bend it back. But this thing is really freaking hard. And if I don't bend it in several different places, it's not going to be perfect. And I'm worried about this thing not fitting on top of it properly. So, oh well, 300 bucks. If you do ever have to buy it, know that it comes with that little rubber thing there and the rubber O-ring on this side. When it is at what I hope is the correct proper angles, it makes contact with the block right here and just barely right here. Now these look like they're gonna line up much better for my bracket. I'm gonna fit this first and then the bracket. Oh man, this thing just slid right in. Bolts just lined up nicely. I'm just gonna enjoy my $300. This is the only time I will ever benefit from it. All right, I got this thing in. This bolt has to hold the bracket on. This is a chicken and the egg thing. Because to get these little rubber grommets in the bracket and get this on is crazy, because you can't really fit this thing in very well with the bracket on them. I think what I should have done before tightening it down but getting it in place, and you can still move this a little bit, is get the bracket situated and get it on there. I already put my rear bolt in there, and I'm not going to take that out, I hope. So I'm just going to have this one face out, put the bottom one in the bracket, and then try to rotate it. And then get this top pipe, get this plastic piece in the top part of the bracket there. So wish me luck. All right, I used a little bit more brute force than I think I would have liked. but it really wasn't terrible. Just had to use an object to some pliers to get some leverage and push it back. All done. All torqued back to 23 Newton meters. Yes. Now we can finally make these last two connections over here. All right, this guy connects to this hard pipe. Hose clamp him on. And this one over here gets screwed into here. You gotta be kidding me. This is the very last piece that I had to go. This is my old one that was bent that I told you about. Ordered the new one from Porsche. I just got it installed. I realized it's got a different frickin' head on it. Suggestions? Oh my God, thank God. Jake is a genius. I sent him that last video and he said that maybe this part unthreads. I didn't think it did. I tried really, really hard. It started like stripping and I almost gave up. But a little more persistence, we can get that piece of crap off. Now it should fit like normal. All right, 15 millimeter on the bottom threads, 15 millimeter on the top threads, and we got that one attached. Hallelujah. All right, now we can put our reservoir back in here. All right, got that back on for what feels like the 7th time now. Let's see, what say we start putting this back on, and now with this in place, we can put our belt on, and our belt will hold this tight so I can retorque those. All right, we got our belt on, 24 millimeter socket, something like this to push down on this belt tensioner, and you can see it will loosen it to give you enough slack. So what I did, the harder ones to reach are down there. So I tucked the belt under here. You run it up here. You run it under this idler pulley, over this and over this, and then there's a straight shot down. That's why this pipe here is, well, one of the reasons. So this has room to come all the way down and then go under your big crank pulley here. Now this one, I had to feel all the way under it because you can't really see under it, and make sure that the belt was all the way flat on the bottom. There was like a little bump on the bottom where it wasn't flat, so I had to release the tension again and just with my hand just kind of wiggle it around back and forth. Everything fell into the grooves. The flat side of these that is going against your pulleys should be pretty centered on the pulleys. So just make sure everything looks good. We can take this out. Belt installed. Now with it installed, it is going to hold these in place for us easily so we can torque them back down since we had to remove it. All right, I think I'm finally ready to install the Airbox. I believe it is missing these two little grommets. These are our part numbers over here, and then it's also, mine happens to be missing a little clip. That is the part number there. I'll show you that in a second. I think these two grommets go here and here. Maybe the outer ones, we'll see in a minute. That's what these two little posts go into. One of mine snapped off. It's taped over for now. I will be 3D printing a new one and epoxying it on at a later date. Just had to carefully lift up the filler neck and rotate this thing down into place. And I'm gonna try to anchor those little pegs into the grommets. If you reach in back here to the bottom, you can actually feel them and guide them in, and it fits in there very nicely. I think our filler neck is supposed to snap into this somehow. All right, so we have our connections over here, and we have this vacuum line that we've been following along for a long time. So these three things get attached. This guy snaps in right here. Click in. This one goes to the top of this little vacuum actuator. Snap him in. And at the very bottom of this vacuum actuator, let's see if I can show you. I should have shown you while this was out of the car. Now, as promised, I was missing this little piece, which is called a clip. All right, you live and you learn. That little clip actually snaps into this piece of metal here, and it creates a post for that thing to sit on and keeps that firm. All right, something seems to be missing on my Airbox to clip this in, or broken in the back there. I don't know, you guys let me know what it's missing. All right, so we got 3 clamps that we have to make sure are sealed nicely, and to tighten all 3 of those up. So you can see that is now sitting on that little clip, they called it, little post. This one is in its happy spot. This side doesn't have my post yet, but once it has a post, I will add it. All right, so this little wire clip must be for this. Looks like it was attached here before. So we will reattach it once again. All right, I think that is engine in and complete. I think everything is attached now and ready to go. The next video is gonna be fluids. I'm gonna show you how to do the fluids. We need coolant, we need oil, we need power steering fluid, we need new fuel. So stay tuned. Please give the video a thumbs up. See you guys on the next one.